Hello, everybody. It's Pastor Rick. It's been a while. Your council at Zion Lutheran Church has been working very hard to prepare for us to gather again for worship. This video has been put together to help you understand some of the changes that are being put in place so that we can gather safely.
You already know this part. If you have any symptoms of headache or cough or sore throat, please stay home. We're called to take care of each other, and the best way to do that if we're feeling sick is, in the words of our premier, stay the blazes home. The next thing, and you know this too, is that masks are required. This is another way that we take care of each other. Thanks to Valerie for modeling one here. This is what we're going to see when we're in church. The other thing you know is that we need to be 6 feet apart. This applies to the pews, which have been set apart for this purpose. It also applies when we're lining up to come in the church. And speaking of coming in the church, we will all enter through the main doors. We need to keep the traffic flow consistent. That being said, we understand that stairs are a major challenge for some of us. The ramp door will be open, but we ask if you are able to use the main door, please do so. You will be met at the door by a council member who will ask you some questions. We have to keep attendance, so we'll have to ask your name, and then we'll have to ask you the questions that you've been asked in all those other places. Have you been out of the Atlantic bubble? Have you had any symptoms? We have to keep track of these things for tracking purposes just in case. These records will be kept for 3 years. As we each enter the building, we have to sanitize our hands. And yes, I'm afraid, even if you washed them before you left home. To begin with, at least, we're not going to be printing off bulletins. We are exploring the possibility of emailing them out to people who have email so you can print your own off and bring that if you like. The ushers, such as the very friendly Stefan Sofer, will escort you to the next available seat. Please follow their directions. And once again, the traffic will have to flow one way only.
And now we get to one of the hard parts.
You probably won't be able to sit where you're used to sitting. We have to keep safely distant from each other even here. And so the ushers will take you to the next available seating spot. Families will absolutely be able to sit with each other, but there needs to be 6 feet between each group. You can absolutely wave to each other, but please no shaking hands or hugging, and please do not move around.
And now we get to the next hard part. And I'll be honest, this one's going to be really hard for me.
You will see that there are no hymnals in the pew racks, and there will be no choir. We cannot sing during this pandemic. We can occasionally have soloists, but that's it. We will still have music, and you will stand. And you can clap, or you can sway, or you can hum. And the words for some of the verses will be printed in the bulletin so you can read the words along with the music, but only to yourself. I will be up front during the entire time of the service. And I too will be wearing a mask most of the time. I can take my mask off during the sermon so everybody can hear, but I have to remain very far away from anyone while doing it.
So that's what worship is going to look like for now. We will not be celebrating communion initially. We need to figure out how we can move around the space first. We'll get there eventually.
After we're finished, the ushers will again direct you one at a time to leave via the ramp door. Please be aware we need to keep our distance here as well. There will be a plate by the door for you to put your offerings in to continue to support our ministry together. And there will be another bottle of hand sanitizer for you to clean your hands before you leave. Remember, it's about looking after our neighbors. And once you leave the building, we ask you to please make room at the door for people behind you. It's perfectly natural to want to stay and chat. We understand that, and that's fine. But we have to keep distance for everybody.
One other thing that I know is a concern for some, and that's fair.
The washroom will be available if you need it, but we do ask you to use it with care. You'll see on the wall there are instructions for how to properly wash your hands. We ask you to follow these. They're very clear, they're very obvious, and again, it's nothing new. This is just one more way that we're taking care of our neighbors.
So that's what we're looking at as we get ready to worship at Zion once again. We ask you to be patient with each other, be patient with yourselves. This will be a learning process for all of us, and that's okay. The point is, we're doing it together. To close, I would like to offer something that comes from our compatriot in this ministry business, Pastor Kimber in Halifax. She put the following together as a great reminder of what we're doing, but also why we're doing it. Take a look.
For the love of our neighbors, this is how we will gather together as church. C is for come in the main door. O is for observe physical distancing. M is masks are mandatory. The second M is move, hum, or clap for hymns. Only soloists will do the singing. U is ushers will direct you to and from your seats. N is no touching, please. No hugs or handshakes. I is infants and children need to stay with their families. T is for toilets. Please wash your hands and wipe the taps. And Y is your stuff stays with you, so there will be no coat racks or anything of that nature. Put it all together, and you have community, which is what we are really all about.
Peace be with you all, and we'll see you soon.